Mrs. Calloway slapped me so hard my ears rang.
You ungrateful rat! Do you know how much I got that bracelet? How dare you steal it?
She grabbed my hair and dragged me downstairs to the kitchen. Mr. Calloway and their children were already there, waiting.
I told you she's a thief.
I can see that now. You want to steal from me, right? Then let's teach you a lesson. When we're done with you, you'll never use that hand of yours to take what doesn't belong to you.
I didn't understand what was happening until Mr. Calloway grabbed my wrist and pushed my hand over the hot stove burner. I screamed as the fire burned my skin. They just watched and laughed. And when they finally let go, I collapsed on the floor, holding my burned hand, sobbing in pain.
Maybe next time, you'll remember your place and not dare to steal from us.
I used to live in a world of luxury, surrounded by expensive things and never worrying about anything. My parents were rich, respected, and kind. They taught me to be humble and hardworking, even though I never had to work. But everything changed when I was 19. My parents died in a car accident, and I was left all alone. I thought I still had a home, that my uncles, aunts, and cousins would support me. But instead, they took everything. There was no will, no legal document saying what should happen to my parents' wealth. So my family decided I deserved nothing. They threw me out of my own home, taking every bit of money and property my parents left behind. I had nowhere to go. For weeks, I stayed in shelters, ate whatever I could find, and prayed for help. Then one day, I found a job listing that seemed like a blessing. My father's old business partner and best friend, Mr. Calloway, needed another housekeeper. The job didn't pay much, but I was desperate, so I applied.
Well, look at you. The mighty have truly fallen.
I was embarrassed, but I forced a smile. Yes, sir, unfortunately. And that's why I just need a job.
I suppose I could use an extra hand. My wife has been saying we need another girl.
I had no choice. The day I took the job was the day I walked into hell. The Calloways were extremely rich. Their mansion was even bigger than my late parents' house, but I just guessed that it was because my parents didn't like to live too extravagantly. At first, I thought Mr. Calloway was the worst. He was strict, short-tempered, and always yelling. But I soon realized his wife, Mrs. Calloway, was even worse. She treated her maids like trash, ordering them around and slapping anyone who annoyed her. And their children? They were spoiled, cruel, and loved making the staff suffer. I learned that fast. During my first week, I was cleaning the upstairs bedrooms when their teenage daughter, Lila, called me over. She had her friends with her.
You missed a spot, maid girl.
I actually thought I'd missed a spot. But when I looked around, the parts I'd cleaned were sparkling clean. It was then that Lila burst out laughing and started pouring her juice on the floor. She ordered me to clean it while her and her friends were still laughing. I was going to clean it with the mop stick, but Lila stopped me.
Clean it with your tongue, maid girl.
I looked up at her, hoping she was joking, but she wasn't. She grinned and pulled out her phone, recording me. Her friends were laughing too as I was forced to lick the juice off the floor. I burst into tears because there was nothing I could do. She didn't only record and store the video in her phone, she posted it, and her fellow rich friends who saw the video joined in mocking me, saying I got what I deserved for being underprivileged. When her parents returned, she also showed them the video, and instead of telling their daughter off, they found it funny. Mrs. Calloway even went as far as pouring more juice on the floor and making me lick them off. I felt humiliated, but I had no choice, and that was only the beginning. One night, after finishing my chores, I went to the kitchen to drink some water. Mrs. Calloway was there, sipping wine.
You think this is your home? How dare you walk into my kitchen without knocking?
I had no idea there was a rule to knock before entering the kitchen. But of course, the Calloways would do anything to put me in a bad light. I'm sorry, ma'am, I was just getting water.
Did I say you could? You can't afford to buy water for yourself and you think you can get mine whenever you want? How dare you?
I tried to speak, but before I could even get one word out, she threw her wine glass at me. It hit my arm and shattered, cutting my skin. I wanted to cry, but I held it in, watching as blood flowed out from the cut.
Clean it up, and if I ever catch you acting like you belong here again, you'll regret it, stupid or...
As I cleaned the glass and wiped away the blood, I was shaking the whole time. Days passed, then weeks. The abuse only got worse. One morning, I set the table for Mr. Calloway, but forgot one fork. It wasn't like he ever used that fork. It was mainly there for decorations. But since I was the one who forgot to include it, he snapped at me.
Are you stupid? How dare you set an incomplete table and call me to it?
I'm sorry, sir. It won't happen again. I'll get the fork now. As I turned to go get the fork, Mr. Calloway grabbed my wrist so tightly I thought it would break. Then he shoved me to the floor and I landed hard on my butt.
Maybe if you spent less time daydreaming and more time working, you wouldn't be so useless. Get someone else to bring the fork. I don't want to see you for the rest of today.
I bit my tongue and nodded before leaving. That night, as punishment, I wasn't allowed to eat. I stood in the corner while they enjoyed a huge dinner, my stomach aching with hunger. There was a night that Mrs. Calloway called me to her room. She was drunk and looking so angry that I couldn't even look her in the eyes.
You stole from me, you stupid orphan. How dare you steal from me?
What? No, I didn't steal from you. I'm not a thief.
Don't lie to me.
She threw her jewelry box to the floor, scattering necklaces and rings everywhere.
I know you took my bracelet.
I swear, I didn't do that. I would never steal from you or from anyone. Mrs. Calloway slapped me so hard my ears rang.
You ungrateful rat. Do you know how much I got that bracelet? How dare you steal it?
She grabbed my hair and dragged me downstairs to the kitchen. Mr. Calloway and their children were already there, waiting.
I told you she's a thief.
I can see that now. You want to steal from me, right? Then let's teach you a lesson. When we're done with you, you'll never use that hand of yours to take what doesn't belong to you.
I didn't understand what was happening until Mr. Calloway grabbed my wrist and pushed my hand over the hot stove burner. I screamed as the fire burned my skin. They just watched and laughed. And when they finally let go, I collapsed on the floor, holding my burned hand, sobbing in pain.
Maybe next time, you'll remember your place and not dare to steal from us.
That night, I realized that if I stayed there, I might not survive. But I had nowhere else to go. The bracelet was found in the living room the next day. Mrs. Calloway had forgotten it there. Well, guess who wasn't given even as much as an apology? Instead, I was blamed for showing too much bad behavior that led to me being tagged a thief. I continued to endure all they gave me, until one day. I'd done nothing to them, but Mr. and Mrs. Calloway decided that they were in the mood to teach me a lesson. I begged them. I cried my eyes out, but they refused, saying they needed to tame me more in case I had any plans to harm them or escape in the future. They tied me up so tight and began flogging me, both of them using a belt each. I screamed at the top of my lungs. I was in so much pain. No one could hear me outside because the house was soundproofed. But the maids couldn't endure seeing me suffer like that. One of them secretly called the cops. Another maid stylishly took a video of everything. The cops, thankfully, were very quick to arrive. When the Calloways heard a knock, they tried to quickly untie, but the maids were faster. Even though Mr. Calloway's children tried to stop the maids, they managed to defeat them and unlock the door. The cops walked in on the commotion happening. I was halfway untied with bruises all over my body.
Mr. and Mrs. Calloway, you are under arrest. This is a mistake. I have done nothing wrong. We're just giving her discipline for being bad.
You can't arrest us. Do you know who we are?
But the cops didn't care. Lila and her brother already slipped out of the house when they saw things getting out of hand. Mr. and Mrs. Calloway tried running, like the cowards they were. Mr. Calloway made it to the back door, but he slipped on the wet marble floor, crashing down hard. His leg snapped with a sickening crack, and he cried out in pain. Mrs. Calloway didn't get far either. She tripped on the stairs, tumbling down with a scream. By the time she hit the ground, her arm was bent in a way that arms shouldn't bend. They were caught and arrested right there, crying and injured, their expensive clothes stained with blood. But it didn't end there. After news spread about their arrest, Mr. Calloway's rival leaked news about Mr. Calloway being a dubious man. Investigation began, and it was revealed that he was involved in so many fraudulent activities, as well as bullying other business owners. His companies were sealed, as well as his houses. After the husband and wife were sent to jail, the court financially compensated me and the other maids. I also thanked them for saving my life. I managed to rent a small apartment with the money. As for their kids, I heard that Lila had gone to live with her boyfriend. However, she got pregnant 6 months later and got kicked out of her boyfriend's house because he didn't want a child. Lila was spoiled rotten. She'd never worked a day in her life. so she struggled with working as a laundry lady while being pregnant. As for her brother, well, he followed in his father's footsteps. He thought he was smart, that he could outplay the system. So, he joined a gang who were famous for robbing banks. For a while, he got away with it. Until he didn't. One night, during a heist, the police cornered them. Everyone in his gang ran, but he wasn't fast enough. He got shot in the leg and also got arrested. Just like that, he joined his parents in jail. I should have been satisfied, but there was one more thing left, which was my parents' properties. I had no idea how to get them back from my evil relatives until an old friend of my father visited me in my small apartment. Apparently, my father did have a will, not just a written one. The man told me that my father had recorded his will, but the unfortunate incident claimed his life before he could prepare a written one. My father had given the man his own recording because they did it together, and my father was closer to the man than anyone else, even though they didn't show it much. The man explained that after my parents' death, he had fallen sick. By the time he recovered, he couldn't find me. My relatives also pretended to not know where I was, because they thought the man wanted to take care of me. I cried so much when I listened to the recording. All of my parents' properties were rightfully mine. The man swore to help me get them back. He got me a good lawyer, and we took the case to court. It took months, but in the end, I won. I got everything back. Every house, every business, every cent. As further appreciation for saving me, I found all the maids at the Calloways mansion and gave them $5,000 each. My father's friend never left my side. He became a father figure to me, helping me manage my wealth well. After reclaiming what was rightfully mine, I turned my attention to my so-called relatives, the ones who stole my parents' wealth and left me with nothing. First, I exposed their greed and betrayal to the public. I leaked documents proving their fraudulent claims over my inheritance. News outlets picked up the story, and soon their reputations were in ruins. They were shunned by their wealthy friends and business partners, left to wallow in disgrace. But that wasn't enough. I made sure they lost everything they had gained from my parents. With my legal team, I sued them for financial fraud, forcing them to return every house, business, and dollar they had taken. When they couldn't afford the legal fees, their properties were seized, leaving them destitute. Some of them, in desperation, tried to start over in new businesses, but I had already ensured they would be blacklisted in every industry they touched. Word spread quickly. No one wanted to associate with thieves. Two of my uncles, who spearheaded the theft of my inheritance, became so broke that their children had to drop out of school. Desperate and with nowhere else to turn, they shamelessly came to me, pleading for work.
Please, we are really sorry. It was the devil's work.
I smiled and hired them as janitors at one of my companies, ensuring they did extra work for no pay. Later on, they attempted to hire someone to steal from the company, but their plan backfired. The thieves were caught and revealed who had sent them. As a result, my uncles were arrested and locked up in prison. Abandoned and disgraced, their wives and children left them and moved to a new state. Thanks for watching.
He loved humiliating people. If someone was a minute late, he'd call them out in front of the entire office. Look who finally decided to show up. Should we all bow in respect? I'm literally only a minute late. I'm sorry. I didn't think it was that bad. Before I knew it, Tyler gave me a resounding slap that echoed throughout the office. It is bad. I can't believe you're that stupid that you don't understand how that isn't bad. I expect you to be here 10 minutes at the very least before your shift starts. You may as well be an hour late if you are a minute late. I'm going to dock you 3 hours for this. Dock me? What do you mean? It means you are going to be working for free for the next 3 hours. Now get to work or I'll make it 6. One time, a coworker named Lisa had a family emergency and had to leave work early. The next day, Tyler plastered notes all over the office reading, "Only losers leave early," and he included a photo of her on the bottom of it. After that, he literally would constantly accuse Lisa of leaving work early because she was lazy and wanted to get home to watch TV. He was relentless in making up embarrassing reasons for why she had left that day. Because of this, Lisa quit the next week. Another time, he made Jeff, one of the oldest employees, do push-ups in front of everyone because he yawned during a meeting that was late in the day. Hey there, my name is Simon. And just like most people, I had always assumed that work wasn't supposed to feel like a prison. But under Tyler, that's exactly what it had become. When I first got hired, I was excited. This job had potential, a steady paycheck, and a chance to move up in the company. But I quickly realized the reality was much different. Tyler, our boss, was a tyrant. He was only middle management, but he carried himself around as if he owned the entire company. That, and he took liberties that he shouldn't have. There were things that he did that made question just how much authority that he had. For example, he refused to pay overtime, yet demanded we work 60 hours a week, sometimes even more. If anyone dared to complain, he'd laugh in their face. Oh, come on. You should be thanking me for the extra hours. You all should be grateful you even have jobs. But we're not getting paid for the extra hours, Tyler. Shouldn't we be getting overtime pay? Isn't it illegal to not be given overtime pay? And who exactly are you gonna tell? Go ahead, quit if you don't like it. See if you can find anything better. Just be glad you are getting hours. It's my choice to award you overtime pay, and none of you lazy morons have earned it. But we're working ourselves to death. Well, the second you lazy bums start dropping dead, then I'll start to care. He thought he had us trapped, and in a way, he did. Everyone needed the job. Rent, bills, family responsibilities, we couldn't afford to walk away. So we endured it because we thought we didn't have any other choice. Day after day, week after week, we let him overwork us, berate us, and treat us like dirt. Tyler's cruelty extended beyond just the hours. He loved humiliating people. If someone was a minute late, he'd call them out in front of the entire office. Look who finally decided to show up. Should we all bow in respect? I'm literally only a minute late. I'm sorry. I didn't think it was that bad. Before I knew it, Tyler gave me a resounding slap that echoed throughout the office. It is bad. I can't believe you're that stupid that you don't understand how that isn't bad. I expect you to be here 10 minutes at the very least before your shift starts. You may as well be an hour late if you are a minute late. I'm going to dock you 3 hours for this. Dock me? What do you mean? It means you are going to be working for free for the next 3 hours. Now get to work or I'll make it 6. One time, a coworker named Lisa had a family emergency and had to leave work early. The next day, Tyler plastered notes all over the office reading, "Only losers leave early," and he included a photo of her on the bottom of it. After that, he literally would constantly accuse Lisa of leaving work early because she was lazy and wanted to get home to watch TV. He was relentless in making up embarrassing reasons for why she had left that day. Because of this, Lisa quit the next week. Another time, he made Jeff, one of the oldest employees, do push-ups in front of everyone because he yawned during a meeting that was late in the day. We had been at work for 14 hours, and we were all exhausted and feeling burnt out. And the fact that Jeff was struggling to do the push-ups not only made him embarrassed, but we all felt incredibly awkward, just standing there being forced to watch as he struggled to do them. If you've got the energy to yawn, you've got the energy to exercise. Give me 20 more. But I can't continue, sir, I'm tired. I don't want to hear excuses. Either give me 20 more push-ups or you're fired. Jeff was mortified, but he did it because he had no choice. We could all tell that it hurt him to do so, though. But that didn't even compare to the time that Tyler literally attacked someone. It all started because Tyler was known for going into the staff fridge and helping himself to other people's food. People would constantly find their food half-eaten or missing. Finally, one day, Stuart finally got fed up with this, and he laced a brownie with a bunch of laxatives and left in the fridge, and sure enough, it went missing. Tyler spent that afternoon constantly rushing off to the bathroom, barely making it in time to avoid having an accident. It was clear that Tyler was in incredible agony. The next day, Tyler came into the office and found out who had tampered with his food, and when he did, he shoved Stuart down a flight of stairs. The scream he let out was awful, but he refused to go to authorities, as he feared that if he did, that Tyler would do something even worse. So yeah, working there was a complete nightmare, and sadly, none of us could figure a way to escape it. One night, after yet another grueling 14-hour shift, I collapsed onto the couch at home. My roommate Jake took one look at me and frowned. Dude, you look like hell. What's going on at work? Tyler's a slave driver. He's making us work insane hours, refuses to pay us overtime, and keeps saying we should be grateful to even have a job. That's illegal, you know. He's supposed to pay you for the extra hours. Yeah, but what can we do? He's the boss. It's not like we have proof. You sure about that? Well, yeah, anyone that speaks out against him gets attacked. One time, I saw him steal a person's lunch and eat it in front of them because they left their desk 2 minutes before lunch was supposed to start. He just ate their food in front of them and scowled the whole time. And another time, he literally shoved someone down a flight of stairs. That's insane. I mean, why are you putting up with that? Well, I think I may be able to help though. Jake was a bit of a hacker in his free time. One of the best I've ever known, actually. He grinned and cracked his knuckles before turning to his laptop. I watched as he worked, logging into my company's server, pulling up files, breaking through firewalls. Then his eyes widened. Holy shit, Simon. You're not just being screwed out of your overtime pay. The company's been paying it, but Tyler's been siphoning it for himself. He's been taking the money and marking the records as if you all got it. But there is a lot more than that. Is Tyler married? Are you serious? There's evidence for that? And yes, he is. Why? As serious as a heart attack, and I ask, because Tyler has been using his work computer to talk to all kinds of women, and he has been using company money to pay for motel rooms with them. And looking at some of his conversations, it appears that more than a few of them are even underage. There is no way that all that evidence is there. Was Tyler really that stupid? It appears so. Tyler was indeed stupid enough to leave a paper trail. He's been stealing tens of thousands of dollars from you guys and the company as well. Probably hundreds of thousands of dollars, to be honest. And it looks like he has been using the company as cover for being a child predator. This guy is all kinds of awful. My stomach twisted in rage and disgust. Tyler needed to be stopped. I couldn't believe that Tyler was not only a jerk, but a criminal as well. Can you print that out? All that evidence. Every last piece of it. Already on it. I'll even print out multiple copies for you. The next day, I stormed up to the highest floor where the board members of the company had their offices. They were Tyler's immediate bosses, and they needed to know what had been going on. I then slipped the documents into an envelope and slid them under doors to their offices. Then I waited. Tyler was in a foul mood all morning, snapping at everyone, barking orders. But around noon, something changed. His phone rang. He answered it, and within seconds, his face turned pale. Then, the office doors burst open. Several police officers entered, followed by Tyler's immediate boss. Tyler stood frozen, eyes darting around as if searching for an escape. Tyler, we need to have a word. Now. This is ridiculous. What's going on? We have evidence of payroll fraud and theft, along with evidence that you have sexually assaulted dozens of young girls. You're coming with us. But I would never do any of that. You can't prove anything. Tyler, seeing that he had no options and that the police weren't going to believe him, he bolted. He shoved past his desk, ran out of the office, and sprinted toward the stairwell. He was in such a panic that he tripped, tumbling down a full flight of stairs. We all heard the sickening crunch as he hit the bottom, groaning in agony. The officers caught up, handcuffed him, and hauled him away. For weeks, the office buzzed with new revelations. Not only had Tyler been stealing overtime pay and petty cash, but he had also kept the names of former employees on the payroll after they quit, pocketing their salaries. He had siphoned thousands upon thousands of dollars. As bad as all that was, once he was arrested, people began to come forward and tell how he had assaulted them and forced them to have sex with him. Among them were many girls who were mostly 17, but some were as young as 15. Their testimonies were the coffin nail that truly did him in. The second that his victims came forward, Tyler's wife filed for divorce. She was awarded not only all of his money, but all of his belongings as well. As for his legal punishment, he was sentenced to 45 years in prison. And of course, it goes without saying that he was fired as well. To add insult to injury, though, I heard that he broke his leg so badly that he will never be able to walk around without being in constant pain, and the use of a cane, which in prison was going to be a challenge. He was forced to use a wheelchair most of the time, but that didn't get him any sympathy. As soon as his fellow inmates found what he had been arrested for, they constantly beat him up. He spent just as much time in the prison yard as he did in the infirmary. Back at work, though, with Tyler gone, the company hired a new boss, someone who actually valued the employees and treated us with compassion and encouragement. The person they hired was named Derek, and he told us that family always came first, and that if we ever needed to leave because of an appointment or a family emergency, that he would understand. On top of that, if we wanted to work overtime, then he would make sure we were compensated accordingly, but that it wasn't mandatory. Morale skyrocketed. People laughed again. Lunch breaks were enjoyable. And best of all, we finally got paid what we were owed. The company, embarrassed by how badly we had been mistreated, paid us all back double the overtime that Tyler had stolen. Some employees used it to pay off debts, others took long overdue vacations. And me? I used part of mine to buy Jake something he had always wanted, a rare signed baseball from his favorite player. I mean, it was the least I could do. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment down below saying I subscribed, and we will try our best to reply to your comment.